Hey, what's up, folks? It's the captain. Let me talk to you for a second. And yes, about Jesus and the Bible. Check it out, though. If you turn on your TV and there was a news flash, breaking news that there was modern day slavery going on, people were in slavery, would you condemn that as a Christian? Would you say, wait a minute, slavery, that's wrong? And would you believe that God also condemns that? If your answer to that question is yes, then why does the Bible endorse slavery? I'm going to talk to you real quick about the book of Philemon. A lot of people don't really know about the book of Philemon, but it's Saturday right now. When you go to church tomorrow, I want you to ask your pastor about this book, okay? The book of Philemon is in the New Testament. It comes right after the book of Titus, right before the book of Hebrews. I'm going to read an excerpt from it from the NIV version, and I'm going to start at verse 10. Listen closely. This is Paul speaking, because Paul wrote the book, and we know if you're a Bible studier, you know that Paul wrote about 75% of the entire New Testament. Now, the book is titled Philemon. That's who Paul is writing to about a certain person named Onesimus. Now I'm gonna read from verse 10. Paul says, I appeal to you for my son Onesimus. He became my son while I was in chains. Formerly he was useless to you, but now he has become useful to both you and to me. I'm sending him, who is my very heart, back to you. So that means Onesimus had left, right? He said, I would have liked to keep him with me so that he could take your place in helping me while in chains for the gospel. But I didn't want to do anything without your consent, so that any favor you would do wouldn't seem forced, but would be voluntary. Verse 15, perhaps the reason he was separated from you for a little while was that you might have him back forever, no longer as a slave, but better than a slave, as a dear brother. He is very dear to me, but even dearer to you, both as a fellow man and as a brother in the Lord. Let's stop right there. I just read to you verses 10 through 16, the book of Philemon. Read it. Talk to your pastor about it. Now, here we have the Apostle Paul, the biggest figure by far in the New Testament, bigger than all the apostles, almost bigger than Jesus. We ain't gonna take it there, but he wrote most of the commentary in the New Testament. Now, here he is. Two things. He's friends with someone he knows owns slaves. Now, not once did Paul rebuke Philemon for owning slaves. He said, look, please be nice. This guy ran away from you, but he ran into me, gave his life to Christ, and now I want you to accept him back. He didn't say anything about the institution of slavery. In fact, he supported the institution and his guy Philemon. And if you keep reading it, Paul says, look, if he owes you anything or you've encountered any kind of financial loss, I'll pay it back myself. So here Paul is, the guy who wrote 75% of the New Testament, supporting slavery, literally sending the guy back to a slave master and saying, look, he's a brother in Christ now, but he's a slave. So anyway, you guys get the point. I think that's crazy that anybody can read that, understand it, and still be supportive of it. So I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think now that you know, if you didn't know before, that Paul endorsed slavery? He supported slavery. He had a friend who was a slave owner, never confronted him about the fact that he's a slave owner, nor condemned the institution of slavery. Ask your pastor about that and see what they think. What I've heard a lot of people say, and I'm gonna land my plane here, is that this is like a metaphor between God, Christ, and the church, or us, almost like a prodigal son story, where you've got the father, or in this case, the master, Philemon, and you've got a son who ran away, right? And then he ran into Jesus, who reconciled the relationship between father and son. Yeah, that's the gooey-eyed, nice sounding way to interpret it. But the literal meaning here is it was a runaway slave who Paul sent back to his master. The Bible's endorsing slavery. Holler at me in the comments. Ask your pastor. Let me know what you think. Peace.